Hi guys, I'm Melina McDonald from Intimacy TV, where we're all about raw conversation, real education. Today, I was flat out yesterday, so sorry everybody, because I know you've been waiting for the 10th archetype in regards to the kinds of guys that we date that I write about in Win the Dating Game. So number 10 is Mr. Dreamer. Look, I love these guys. There is so much that we can actually learn about them. But the question is, how do we know that we've actually met Mr. Dreamer, or the man that we call Mr. Dreamer? What do they look like? Here's the deal. These guys have a dream and they make sure that they get to it. They are determined of what they want and they have this goal to get it. And, you know, we're always bagging someone who's a bit of a dreamer because we just think that, you know, they're always just, you know, off with the fairies and stuff like that. However, when you meet one of these archetypes, they have so much to teach you. So how do we know that when we've actually met someone that's not off with the fairies, but they're actually a dreamer? Well, firstly, these guys tend to work in more of an extroverted job. However, personality-wise, they're a lot more introverted. So they do a lot of their own personal time. Hi, guys. So Mr. Dreamer, he's, you know, when we talk about the extroverted jobs, you know, when they're out there and they're talking to the people and they're around people, and specifically they're around a lot of women. However, personality-wise, they are definitely more introverted and they love to be in their bubble. So these guys tend to work, you know, they may not have, like, for example, you'll find that they may have a full-time or a part-time job as a bouncer or a barman, or they're a stripper or something like that, where they can constantly be surrounded by women. In their private time, so that's a little bit more of feeding the ego. In their private time, these guys love to be in their bubble, okay? That's the reality. These guys, they like that little privacy bubble, you know. We used to call it the love bubble, because I've been with a few of these guys and they are really delightful to be with. They literally, because you go into their bubble, they bring out this, I don't know, this light joyness within you, and they make you believe that you can do anything that you want. And the thing is that specifically in the country that I live in Australia, we have what we call the tall poppy syndrome, where we, you know, anyone sticks their head up too high, we chop it off. But these guys, they don't believe in that. They are so determined to get whatever their purpose or their goal is, that they will make sure that they attain that. And trust me, these guys have got very big, high purposes and goals. Sometimes it's even, you know, I want to learn a new skill or something like that, but they have such determination to improve themselves on every level, whether that's physically or on an education or within their career. They are determined. They love long-term relationships. These guys are definitely the long-termers. That's what they like. And, you know, most of them do tend to love the idea of, you know, of having kids. These guys are great as long as they don't get too cocky. Okay, the ones that, you know, aren't cocky, they're just gems. They're the ones that you want in your life. And the ones that I had, like, for me, to give you an idea, after I left my husband, I was single for 2 years, and I'd been working at Sexpo, and my energy was quite different. I was also the most clothed woman in the room, and I was getting hit on left, right and centre, you know, from 21-year-old men up to, you know, 50-odd-year-old men. And I was just like, whoa, what's going on? And so in this one night, I actually had been approached quite a few times. And I had this inner fear, you know. It was just like, oh my God, I've, you know, been out of this scene for so long. What do I want? What do I desire? And someone that I had met, we'd had a lot of conversations over that time. And, you know, the way that they approach you, they do it with confidence and they make you feel amazing. And so out of all the offers that I had, the way he approached it, it's like a guy who comes up to you and you know, and he's more like, you know, hey, you want to fuck? And then you got the guy, oh, I can see a baby in the background. So you got the guy who goes, you know, you want to fuck, and then you got the other one that just says, you know, I think you need a cuddle right now. Now, men, for those of you that don't get it, you say to a woman, hey, do you want to cuddle? hey, and, you know, it just cuddle. And you know what? That's actually going to get you where you want to be. So, you know, so what actually happened was I followed my instincts, and out of the beautiful plethora that had been thrown at me, I decided I wanted to invest some time with this person. And every time we caught up, we literally were in what we called our bubble. So it was very insular. We tended to hang out at home more than go out and do things together. And that's something that the dreamer really likes to do. So they like to stay in their bubble, and it's a safety, a real safety net there. And so this person actually completely brought me out of my shell. At no time do these men make you feel unworthy, unloved, not sexy. You know, they just, oh my God, they make you feel amazing, you know, and that is a way that they approach women, which is really, really important and a great lesson for people to learn. So in the book, when I talk to you about what are the quick identifications of how you know these sorts of men, and the most common personality parts of them, their attributes, I also talk about what they're like in bed, what their perfect partner is, and how they like to be dumped. So let me paint a picture for you. A lot of these guys, you'll find, as I said, they tend to work in industries where they're surrounded by women. So, you know, a lot of the time it starts off, it's about the ego. You know, they were the ugly ducklings at school. They, you know, always had a hotter brother. You know, they never felt like they were literally masculine enough. So you find a lot of them have beautiful bodies, okay? They've gone out and they're literally, because that's part of working around women, is they're constantly getting the ego stroke till they believe that that's who they are, okay? So you'll find that they look very masculine. So in the bedroom, look, they are eager to please. They are average in bed. I'm not going to lie about that. However, the beauty is that this particular Mr. Dreamer, even though and the reason why they're average in bed is because they do actually, look, they've got this amazing body, and they just know that you're going to drop your pants because their body's so hot. So they don't have to work for it as much. Even though on an emotional level, they tend to feed your emotions more than your physical, if that makes sense. So they're eager to please, you know, but they're a little bit vain, and a little bit of ego comes into it on the physicality side of things. On the emotional, it's quite different. They tend to be a lot more soft and romantic in that case most of the time. I'm not going to say that they're not going to want to have, you know, wham, bam, slam, you know, you against the wall kind of sex. They're actually quite good at that because they're strong enough to pick up their women and slam them against the wall. However, when we get to the crux of what they like, it is a lot more about, you know, the soft and the romantic and the nurturing side is their underlayer that they actually have in the bedroom. They do actually like to have a more eye contact when they're having sex. That is something that, you know, they're more likely going to be the ones that are going to ask you to look in their eyes, which is very difficult to do, by the way. What's a perfect partner? Well, here's the deal, ladies. If you have a jealous bone in your body, do not actually go and be with these men, because they are deliciously beautiful on the outside, physically, you know, looking. They're going to get a lot of attention from women, and as I said, they tend to have jobs that are a lot more surrounded by women. So they might be a tradie during the day, but at night they might be a barman. So if you have jealousy, the shit's not going to work, okay? So generally, you need to be a partner that is, you know, going to stroke their ego a bit. And it also works quite well if you work in the same industry. So, for example, if he's a stripper, it's good for, you know, him to date a female stripper. It's going to work because you both know what you're doing at work, and that work is work, and that's it. In regards to how you would dump these guys, like if you've realized, you know, you're with one, but it's not floating your boat today the way that it did when you first started, you know, the best way to do this is discreetly do it in a very gentle and with loving intention. Okay, you'll more than likely stay their friends. You do it this way, you know, you will always have them in your life. And let me tell you, I'm actually quite protective about my Mr. Dreamers. Because they just, they make you feel amazing. They're just, because of that nurturing side, they are absolutely some of the most beautiful souls I've ever met. So, you know, that is the Mr. Dreamer. That's the 10th archetype that I've got in the book, Win the Dating Game. You can find out or download the book on winthedatinggame.com.au. Or you can go onto our website, and it's under the product section at IntimacyTV.com.au. I will be talking more about other parts of the book. It's not just about this, and go a little bit deeper, because now we've covered the 10 archetypes. So if you have missed them, we've done Mr. Passionate, Mr. Unavailable, Mr. Nostalgia, Mr. High IQ, Low EQ, which is emotional intelligence, Mr. Perceived Perfect, Mr. Infatuated, the Sexual Conqueror. So these are the bad boys, the Comedian, the Serial Monogamist, and the Dreamers. So there's a little munchkin in the background. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We may do one later on today. We'll see how we feel. We are anyway going to an event tonight. So I will be doing a Facebook Live at a fashion event tonight. I will see you all there. Love till next time. Bye-bye.